What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there's something invisible living inside your body that's more powerful than any disease, more devastating than any physical ailment, and more controlling than any outside force you've ever encountered? What if everything you've been struggling with, that chronic pain that won't go away, that anxiety that grips you in the middle of the night, that exhaustion that follows you like a shadow, isn't actually caused by what you think it is? You see, we've been taught to believe that healing comes from the outside. We chase pills, treatments, therapies, looking for that magic solution that will finally fix what's broken. But what if nothing is actually broken? What if your body has been trying to heal you all along, desperately attempting to restore balance? And there's just one single thing standing in its way? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Here's the truth that most people will never discover. Your body was engineered with an intelligence so profound, so sophisticated, that it grew you from a single microscopic cell into the complex being you are today. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every moment of cellular regeneration happens without you consciously thinking about it. And this isn't magic. This is the built-in healing mechanism that exists within every single person watching this right now. But here's the disturbing part. Something has hijacked this system. Has this ever happened to you? You go to sleep feeling fine, but wake up with unexplained tension in your shoulders. Or maybe you notice that certain situations make your stomach turn, your heart race, your palms sweat. Your body is screaming at you, sending signals, desperately trying to communicate something crucial. But we've learned to ignore these messages, to push through, to override what our physical form is telling us. And in doing so, we've locked ourselves in an invisible prison. The answer isn't complicated, but it's something that our modern world has trained us to ignore completely. Deep within your nervous system, there exists a single emotion that has the power to shut down your body's natural healing abilities. This emotion creates a cascade of biological responses that throw everything out of balance. Your hormones, your immune system, your cellular regeneration, everything. It's been there so long that you might not even recognize it anymore. It feels normal. It feels like just part of who you are. But what if it's not? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you understand your own body. We're about to dive into why balance, not addition, is the secret to unlocking your body's true healing potential. We're going to explore why everything you've been told about fixing your health might be keeping you stuck in the exact patterns that are making you sick. And most importantly, we're going to identify the one invisible force that's been holding your healing hostage this entire time. Because once you understand what this force is, and more importantly, how it's been controlling your body's ability to heal itself, everything changes. The question is, are you ready to see it? The force I'm talking about isn't some external enemy. It's not a virus, not a bacteria, not even stress in the traditional sense. It's something far more insidious because it operates completely under your conscious awareness, making decisions about your health without you even knowing it's there. And here's where this gets absolutely mind-blowing. Inside your body right now, there's an intelligence that's infinitely more powerful than any treatment, any medication, any therapy that exists in the modern world. Think about this for a moment. You started as a single cell, one microscopic cell that somehow knew exactly how to divide, how to specialize, how to create organs, bones, a nervous system, a brain capable of reading these words right now. Nobody taught that cell what to do. No doctor guided the process. No instruction manual existed. This wasn't random chance. This was pure intelligence expressing itself through matter. And here's the revelation that changes everything. That same intelligence never left you. It's still there, flowing through every nerve, every fiber, every molecule of your being. If you're drawn to this kind of deep, honest content that goes beyond the surface, hit that subscribe button. This channel is for people who aren't afraid to look at the uncomfortable truths and do the real inner work. Right now, as you're watching this, your heart is beating without you telling it to. Your lungs are breathing without conscious command. Your stomach is digesting. Your cells are regenerating. Your immune system is identifying and eliminating threats. Thousands of processes are happening simultaneously. orchestrated by an autonomous power that requires absolutely nothing from your thinking mind. This is the hidden truth that most people miss entirely. You have a built-in healing system that's more sophisticated than anything human science has ever created. But here's where the journey takes a dark turn. This divine energy, this godly power that wants nothing more than to keep you in perfect balance, can be completely shut down by one single mindset. When you live from a place of lack, when you operate from limitation, then when fear becomes the lens through which you see reality, you're literally creating energetic blockages that strangle this natural intelligence. It's like trying to run water through a kinked hose. The pressure is there, the flow wants to happen, but something is restricting the path. The impact of this blockage isn't subtle. It doesn't just affect one area of your life or one part of your body. It cascades through everything. Your nervous system, which should be conducting this healing energy like a symphony conductor, instead becomes a battlefield. Past trauma gets stored in your tissues. Fear creates physical tension that never releases. And slowly, day by day, your body starts fighting itself instead of healing itself. The transformation you're seeking, the freedom you desperately want, all remains just out of reach because this invisible force keeps pulling you back into familiar patterns. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because understanding what's happening is one thing, but recognizing how it's showing up in your actual life is where the real revelations begin. Your body has been trying to communicate with you through symptoms, through pain, through discomfort, and most people completely miss these signals because they've been trained to silence them instead of listen. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to listen," if this is resonating with you right now. Because here's what's really happening behind the scenes of your suffering. Every painful experience you've ever had, every heartbreak, every betrayal, at every moment where someone told you that you weren't enough, those events didn't just happen and disappear. They created something far more permanent. They built an identity. And this identity isn't who you actually are. It's a constructed version of yourself that was designed to protect you from ever being hurt that way again. But here's the twisted truth. This protective identity is the very thing that's keeping you trapped. Think about the decisions you make every single day. How many of them come from genuine desire, and how many come from a place of avoiding pain? When you don't pursue that relationship, that opportunity, that dream, is it because you don't want it, or because some part of you has decided that you don't deserve to have freedom and joy? This is the hidden prison that most people live in their entire lives without ever recognizing it exists. The bars are invisible, but they're absolutely real. They were forged by your parents' mistakes, by that person who broke your heart, by that failure that convinced you something fundamental was wrong with you. The impact of carrying this false identity goes deeper than you can imagine. It's not just affecting your mindset or your confidence, it's literally shaping your physical reality. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between a real threat and a perceived one. When you're living from a place of believing you deserve pain, your body responds accordingly. It stays in a constant state of alert, of protection, of defense. And this state is completely incompatible with healing. You cannot defend and heal simultaneously. It's physiologically impossible. But here's where this journey takes an unexpected turn. Your body has been trying to show you this truth all along. It's been sending you signals, messages, revelations about what's really going on inside. Every time your stomach tightens when you think about a certain person or situation, every time your shoulders tense up when faced with a specific decision, every time your heart races for no apparent reason, these aren't random reactions. These are your nervous system's way of communicating what's true. Your body is the ultimate lie detector, showing you exactly how you really feel about everything in your life. If this resonated with you on any level, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a simple way to tell me this content is connecting, and it helps others who need to hear this find their way here. The problem is that we've been conditioned to ignore these signals because they're uncomfortable. We push through the tension, we medicate the anxiety, we distract ourselves from the pain. But discomfort is information. It's your body's language, trying to guide you toward transformation. When you avoid facing these reactions, you're essentially telling your nervous system to keep holding on to the trauma, to keep maintaining the protective patterns, to keep running the same programs that are creating disease and imbalance. What most people don't realize is that working with your nervous system isn't about forcing change or willpower. It's about observation. It's about creating space to actually feel what's there without immediately trying to fix it or make it go away. This is where the real revelations happen, where you start to see the patterns that have been controlling your life from the shadows. And once you see them clearly, once you understand how they've been operating, the path forward becomes obvious. Drop a comment saying, "I see the pattern," if you're starting to recognize this in your own life. Because when you really look at what's been controlling your entire existence, when you strip away all the complexity and all the layers, you arrive at one singular truth. Fear is the only real devil that exists in this world. Not the fear of dying, not the fear of physical harm, but something far more subtle and far more destructive. It's the fear that whispers you're not worthy of love, the fear that tells you pursuing that opportunity will only lead to failure. The fear that convinces you staying small and safe is somehow protecting you from disappointment. This is the invisible force that's been making your decisions for you. Every time you didn't speak up, every time you settled for less, every time you watched someone else live the life you wanted while you stayed stuck. That wasn't wisdom or caution. That was fear operating as your master, instead of you being the master of your own journey. And here's the devastating impact. Fear doesn't just stop you from taking action in one area of your life. It creates a systematic paralysis that infects everything. Your relationships become guarded. Your career becomes a safe prison. Even your health becomes something you're afraid to truly transform, because what if you fail? What if you try everything and nothing works? And better to not try at all than to face that possibility. But the hidden truth that will set you free is this: the cage you're living in doesn't actually exist. Let me paint you a picture that perfectly illustrates what's happening. Imagine a full-grown elephant, powerful enough to uproot trees, capable of incredible strength and freedom. Yet this elephant stands docile, tied to nothing more than a flimsy plastic chair. How is this possible? Because when that elephant was young, it was tied to something it couldn't break free from. It pulled and struggled and failed over and over, until eventually, it accepted a fundamental belief: I cannot escape this circle. Years later, even though the elephant could destroy that plastic chair in seconds, it doesn't even try. The conditioning runs so deep that the physical reality no longer matters. The cage is entirely psychological, but it's absolutely effective. This is your life right now. The limitations you're experiencing, the boundaries you believe you cannot cross, the transformation you think is impossible. These aren't based on actual reality. They're based on past conditioning. Somewhere along your journey, you tried to break free and failed. Maybe you tried to heal and didn't get results. Maybe you pursued a dream and got rejected. Maybe you opened your heart and got destroyed. And in that moment, your mind made a decision. This is my limitation. This is as far as I can go. And from that point forward, you stopped even trying to break free because the belief became more powerful than the actual obstacle. The revelation here is staggering when you really sit with it. The thing holding you back isn't real in the present moment. It's a ghost from your past that you've given permission to control your future. The decisions you're making today are being dictated by experiences that are long gone, by versions of yourself that no longer exist. You're living in an illusion so complete that you can't even see the bars aren't solid anymore. Type, "The cage is an illusion," if you're beginning to understand how this has been operating in your world. And once you recognize that the cage is psychological, once you understand that fear has been controlling you through conditioning rather than reality, you can start to see something even more profound about how your body actually works. Look at the natural world for just a moment. Everything in existence operates on precise balance. The Earth sits at exactly the right distance from the sun. A few miles closer, and we'd burn. A few miles farther, and we'd freeze. Gravity holds everything together with perfect mathematical precision. The entire ecosystem functions in harmony, with every element playing its role in maintaining equilibrium. Your body is no different. It's designed to exist in this same state of natural balance. But here's what happens when fear takes control. Your nervous system gets locked into fight or flight mode. And this mode was never meant to run continuously. It's an emergency response system designed for immediate threats, not a permanent state of being. When you live in constant vigilance, constant protection, constant defense against imagined dangers, your entire system goes haywire. Hormones flood your bloodstream at the wrong times. Your immune system starts attacking healthy cells. Your digestion shuts down. Sleep becomes impossible. The cascade of imbalance touches every single function in your body. But there's a force working behind the scenes that most people never tap into. Call it universal intelligence, call it divine energy, call it God, the label doesn't matter. What matters is understanding that this same power that orchestrates the planets, that maintains the delicate balance of nature, is actively working within you right now to restore harmony. It wants to bring you back to love, to joy, to peace. It's constantly attempting to guide you toward alignment. The question is, are you allowing it, or are you blocking it with fear-based thinking? Here's where this journey takes a critical turn that most people completely miss. Once you begin the process of releasing fear, once you start dismantling the false identity and the illusory cage, there's one absolutely essential step that determines whether transformation actually happens or whether you fall back into old patterns. You have to expect something magical to occur, not hope for it, not wish for it. Expect it with absolute certainty. Your subconscious mind is listening to every thought, every belief, every expectation you hold. When you release fear, but then sit around waiting anxiously to see if it worked, you're sending mixed signals. You're essentially telling your body, I let go of the fear, but I don't actually believe anything will change. And your body responds accordingly. But when you release fear and then claim to your deepest self that this is complete, that this is sufficient, that transformation is already happening. Everything shifts. The decisions you make from that place are different. The actions you take are aligned. The opportunities that appear seem almost supernatural. Now, let me be clear about something important. Your physical reality doesn't transform overnight. The body operates in three-dimensional time and space. It needs cycles to integrate new patterns, to rebuild cellular structures, to rewire neural pathways. We're talking about 8 to 12 weeks for significant changes to become visible in your actual life. But the internal shift, that happens immediately when you truly let go and expect the breakthrough. Leave a comment with, I expect the breakthrough, if this is landing with you right now. Because once you start operating from this place of expectation, and once you've made the internal shift, your body begins showing you exactly where fear has been hiding all along. And this is where the real detective work begins. You start noticing patterns you've been ignoring for years. That digestive issue that flares up every time you have to make a major decision, that's not random. That chronic fatigue that keeps you from pursuing your dreams, that's not just physical exhaustion. These are manifestations of fear expressing itself through your physical form, creating very real symptoms that keep your life getting smaller and smaller. Pay attention to what you're actually afraid of in your daily existence. If you have stomach problems, what foods are you scared to eat? If you're constantly exhausted, what activities is that fatigue preventing you from doing? The symptoms aren't the enemy here. They're messengers. They're your body's way of showing you where the cage has been constructed, where the invisible barriers are operating. And here's the shift in mindset that changes everything. Instead of fearing these symptoms, instead of seeing them as problems to be eliminated, what if you thanked your body for revealing them? This might sound counterintuitive, but understanding this hidden truth transforms your entire relationship with your physical self. Your body isn't betraying you with these symptoms. It's communicating. It's showing you the exact locations where fear has created blockages, where trauma has been stored, where the energy cannot flow freely. And when you recognize that your physical form is essentially waves of light and energy temporarily expressed in material form, and you realize that these blockages aren't permanent structures. They're patterns that can be shifted. The journey toward actually releasing these patterns isn't about forcing anything or using willpower to overcome fear. It's about creating space. It's about allowing. When you relax your body, when you give it permission to feel what's actually there without immediately trying to fix it or make it go away, something remarkable happens. The fear that's been locked in your tissues and your nervous system, in your cellular memory, it starts to move. It wants to leave. Your body doesn't want to hold on to it anymore. It's been waiting for you to give it the space to release. And as this energy moves through you and out of you, your perception of reality literally changes. The world that seemed threatening and frightening yesterday suddenly appears different. You notice beauty you couldn't see before. Opportunities that were invisible become obvious. People respond to you differently because you're operating from a completely different frequency. This isn't metaphorical. This is a measurable shift in how you engage with everything around you. But here's the crucial step that most people miss. After you create space and allow the release to happen, you have to consciously re-intend what you want. You have to claim health, claim harmony, claim the divine effortlessness flowing through you. Because your body is now listening with fresh awareness, ready to be guided toward whatever path creates the most alignment. Sometimes that path is purely internal. Though sometimes your body will guide you toward external solutions, treatments, practices, people who can help. The key is trusting that guidance instead of forcing an agenda. Comment: I trust the process if you're feeling this shift happening within you. And that's the journey we're all on together. Every single person watching this right now is dealing with their own version of this invisible cage, their own patterns of fear that have been running the show behind the scenes. But the difference between staying trapped and breaking free isn't about having all the answers or getting everything perfect. It's about recognizing what's really happening and making the decision to trust something deeper than the conditioning you've been carrying. If you found value in what we explored today, if something here clicked for you in a way that felt true, I'd genuinely appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. The content on this channel goes deep into these hidden truths that most people never talk about. And having you here as part of this community makes all the difference. We're building something real here, a space where these conversations can happen without all the surface level noise that dominates everywhere else. And if you made it all the way to this moment with me, drop a comment saying, "This message was meant for me. I read every single one," and it helps me understand what's resonating with you so I can keep creating content that actually serves your journey. Hitting the like button also helps more people find these videos. If this spoke to you, chances are there's someone else out there who needs to hear it too. And that simple click makes it more likely they'll discover it when they're ready. Before you go, there's a video right here that takes what we just covered even deeper. It's the natural next step in understanding how to actually implement this in your daily life. Click and continue with me over there. I think you'll find it connects perfectly with everything we just explored together.